Hi there, welcome back. Now, there have been increasing calls for Malaysia to introduce measures in the 2019 budget to push the digital economy sector and help Malaysian companies compete in the regional and global marketplace. This is in view of the immense challenges with the advent of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, or IR 4.0. Now, joining me in the studio today is ST Rubaniswaran, KCOM CEO, to discuss this issue. Hi, Ruben.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah.
Right. With the 2019 budget just around the corner, what further measures can the government take in the 2019 budget to boost the digital economy?
I mean, if you look into the full aspect of pushing for IR4 for the country, you've got to look at it as an overall kind of a view. So you need to look at the first thing is about funding. So funding is in terms for the SMEs, companies who actually want to digitize their processes. They need some sort of funding to go towards the next step. So you need to have funding for them to enable them to drive transformation in their organization. So you need to have that. So funding can also be looked at how about companies who actually automate their processes, certain tax incentives, grants to be given.
Yes.
So those are the funding factors that actually will drive industries, whether they are large corporations or small corporations, for them to enable them to actually have those kind of IR4 tech, I would say, into their companies. The next thing that you need to look at is more on the infrastructure part of it. Infrastructure meaning that you need to have proper broadband speed across the whole of the country. That means you need a connectivity imposed, whereas connectivity is always strong, stable, strong speed. So those will actually drive IR4 technology towards companies and for a country as well. The third aspect will be the workforce, the current and the future workforce. Those will be the most important aspects to be trained. That means you need to equip them with the right knowledge, right skills for them to embrace the things that are going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years' time, and to make sure that the workforce is ready for all this. And lastly, I would say you need to have aspects of tech available. That means companies should be able to have technology ready for them to use. There should be enough of grants for R&D, for universities, for people to do research on, to come up with IPs. So those kind of the things that will actually spur more innovation as well. So if you look at the holistically way of how to actually a country to adopt IR4 or adopt driving digital transformation, you need to look at the whole aspect. You can't look at one aspect and do that one aspect.
End to end, right?
End to end, you got to look at it.
Okay, so you mentioned funding just now. Do you think that at the moment there is adequate funding to spur companies to embrace digitalization?
I mean, if you look at funding aspects, at the moment, I don't think so. There's much available for them in terms of probably taking out incentives or grants or loans available actually for them to transform here to here. So to transform certain processes or certain things they want to apply. So these are the things where we need to have those aspects available for companies or incentives available for them to actually take it up.
Right.
So those will be the first enablers for them available. So I think having the funding aspects are important, and the most important aspects as well is having them to be trained, your workforce, the C-level guys, to know that how important technology is, the mid-level management or executives of how to know that how you need to have technology to be implemented in your companies, the mass workforce to know that change is happening, how you transform their mindset to adopt technology. So if you look into the whole context of it, it's actually, we don't have much time actually. If you look at technology per se, technology every day is increasing. Every day there's something new. And we look at the past 10 years compared to the last 50 years, there's so much of innovations happening across the world, across the country as well. So if you don't, the longer you wait, the longer you don't adapt, you see companies going out of business. You look at nations not having enough income. So the driver for nations are no longer your natural resources or your oil or those things. The driver will be tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had a 4.0 blueprint, I believe, with the previous government. What has happened to that?
Okay, the blueprint that we worked on previously was the draft blueprint. I mean, it was published. We took input from a lot of people, stakeholders and everything and all. What needs to be put in, what needs to be added. Supposed to be launched after the election. As you know, there's a change happened, a change of government.
Okay.
But the blueprint was not shelved. The blueprint is still happening. I think they've revived it. It's supposed to be launched next Wednesday.
Okay, great.
Next Wednesday by MITI.
Just around the corner.
Yeah, just around the corner
okay.
by MITI and also by Tun as well. Meeting Minister Dr. Daryl and Tun as well. They're going to launch the national blueprint for the IR4 next Wednesday. So the blueprint that after the election, after the thing, with a lot of changes have been done, a lot of things been added, making sure that it reflects the current situation now that we're facing and everything. So that is what is going to be unveiled.
Right, so it's a new and improved version.
Yeah.
Okay, SMEs have a poor environment of technology as well as lack of connectivity. How can we address these concerns in the upcoming budget?
I mean, you're looking at the lack of connectivity. It always goes back to the speed of internet connection. Also, a lot of funding needs to be put into the infrastructure, making sure that SMEs are connected across Malaysia. So you've got a lot of SMEs. You have SMEs in Sabah. You've got SMEs in Kelantan, rural areas, in Kelantan, in Terengganu, in Pahang. So the thing about driving digital transformation is making sure that every single company in the whole of Malaysia, SMEs, there's about 907,000 companies, all of them are able to be connected. So that is how you drive a transformation for the whole country at the same time by fixing that first.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. We know that every organization needs to constantly reinvent themselves to stay relevant, and Industry 4.0 is considered as part of the upgrading process and the way forward. Yet, okay, there's lack of awareness on the concept of the industry and its benefits. Why is that so?
I guess it's the message to be sent. I guess everyone knows that I need to change. I need to do things differently because things are not the same as well. But the ways and avenues and message to be sent, people to be knowing that, okay, this is I'm a company. I need to do this to make sure that I reach here. So and I don't change the next 10 to 5 years, and I can improve myself. And Industry 4.0, I talk about technology, affects all businesses. Right. Every single profession you're in will be affected.
And it's just around the corner.
Around the corner. 2021 is around the corner.
Okay.
So and the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. You don't change. So what I'm trying to say is that knowledge, that the thought process, the education, that making sure they're informed, the government making sure that these avenues are available for companies and the people to know that what's going to happen, what I can do to change and make sure I adapt to it and adopt it and I move forward. So that's very important, very crucial. So if you give them opportunities to all these avenues, I'm sure SMEs, companies or people, I mean anyone that will take it up because it's all about staying relevant. You see, staying relevant. If you can stay relevant as a company, as a person, moving forward, the nation itself will stay relevant and able to be competitive.
Right, true.
Yeah.
Okay, it is said, okay, we are approaching IR 4.0 in 2021. Where does Malaysia stand on the matter currently?
Okay, Malaysia, when we first started the IR4 plan, I think the whole training part and getting into it was about a couple of years back. So we were in the region. I wouldn't say we were the pioneers, but we were there. We were aware about it. We were training people, we were training students, companies were getting more aware, people were doing about it, ministries were involved and everything and all. So the past 6 months, I think a lot of adjustment to be made in terms of the ministries, in terms of the budgets, in terms of getting things in order and all. So I feel that at the moment, after the budget, after the blueprint is launched, after the national budget is unveiled next Friday, November 2nd, I think we will have a clearer plan how to push towards achieving our targets. But it only happens if everyone comes in together.
Of course.
So if you're looking at about IR4 for the country, it's not only confined to one ministry. There's a lot of multiple ministries involved. You're looking at the education side, you're looking at the human resource side, you're looking at the multimedia side, you're looking at the finance side, you're looking at the whole overall as a MITI of the trade. So to do a task force, the ideal would be having a task force, IR4 task force, digitally transforming the nation, a task force headed by multiple ministries, supported by the industries, supported by the academias, supported by the technical or technology people, principals and everything and all. That would be a task force in place for you to drive and make sure that adoption happens within your time frame.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually a big thing. A lot of countries are actually doing it. So Malaysia should actually start doing it as well because the technology risks are real.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
With that, Ruben, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your input. Very interesting session indeed. Okay, that's all the time that we have today. Keep tuning in to Benaman's channel where it's all about you.